Shipp. Hey, Andrew. Thanks for joining us.
How's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Basically, want everybody to remember that 52 Comms Mixup is the series we're doing, interviewing 52 different PR communications pros on the Just In Case You Were Wondering blog, and we ask 4 questions, 2 about the person's job, 1 about something off topic, something fun that they do, and then 1 about a cause or something they're passionate about. So let's go ahead and get started. Andrew, sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, man. So question number 1. So you work for an agency called Northlich. Did I say it right?
It's Northlich, actually.
Northlich, gotcha. Good. Northlich.com?
Yes, Northlich.com.
Okay, cool. And when I went out to the site the other day, I was looking around, and the first thing that caught my attention before anything else was there was this section in this language around the idea of rehavior. And so that's, for everybody, that's behavior with an R instead of a B. And so, I don't know, I thought that was really interesting positioning. Thought maybe you could fill us in a little more on like what that means for your agency and your clients.
Yeah, definitely. So Rehavior, a lot of agencies talk about, they talk about creating awareness and changing perception.
Right.
Whereas we approach it as we want to actually change behaviors. Okay. So like that's kind of the metric that we use to really, like, we push ourselves to try and change behaviors actually. So like a decent example of it is, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the STAND campaign. That was an anti-smoking campaign. Okay. So instead of just changing the perception that, not actually changing it, but actually letting people know that smoking is bad, we wanted to actually work with the youth and actually change their behaviors to have them not smoke. So that's like a pretty cut and dry example of, instead of just creating awareness and changing perceptions, we wanted to actually change behavior.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, that's got to make it easier for you to show your results to your clients too when you're changing behavior versus, changing messaging about something and awareness that you hope changes behavior, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's really interesting. I love that concept. Okay, so Andrew, when I think of you, obviously you've been really involved in PR2O chat, which is the chat that Heather Whaling and I moderate, but also something I know you've been working on recently is the Be Somebody, and I'm going to call it a movement because I think that's really kind of what it is, and it sounds like what you designed it to be. Yeah. So tell us what Be Somebody is all about. By the way, guys, you can follow Be Somebody. There's a hashtag on Twitter that you can follow, and also Andrew's got a blog. Remind us of what the Be Somebody blog address is.
It's besomebodyblog.com.
Okay, besomebodyblog.com. But tell us a little more about that and how this project's impacted you, where'd it come from?
Yeah, actually, it all started with a guy named Cash Shake, and you can follow him on Twitter. It's at KASHSHAIKH. Okay. And he's a Procter & Gamble guy, which is, big here in Cincinnati. And essentially, it's kind of whatever you need it to be. So if you, it's just taking what you want it to be and then finding out how that's going to affect your life. So really just bringing your best qualities and really showcasing them outwardly. So it's definitely a movement that I was kind of drawn to it from Twitter, like you said, with the hashtag. And it just spoke to a lot of things that I wanted to, carry out in my own life. And I thought that it was a pretty cool way to really engage with other people on Twitter. And I kind of got drawn in that way.
Give me an example. Can you give me an example of maybe something you've written about or how it's worked for you or one of the stories you've told behind it? Or
Yeah, definitely. Well, one of the big things that I identify with is the now over never kind of principle, one of the kind of the sayings. And a couple years back, I actually was playing golf, and I took a golf ball to the right eye, and I lost my right eye. Okay. So I don't actually have a right eye.
Gotcha.
And there definitely was the opportunity but, I could have really gone into a shell and been like, oh, poor me. But I was like, now, over now, if I don't really embrace what I need to do and take advantage of, the fact that it didn't hit me in the head, I could have been dead, but I wasn't. So it's like, really taking advantage of what opportunities I still have in front of me and to really go for it and take advantage.
Wow, it's an incredible story. That's very cool, though. I love the way you're talking about that as far as being optimistic and trying to see the good in any situation, right? And
the glass is half full, as they say.
There you go. Well, yeah, people think optimism is cliche and glass half full, but I'm the same with you, man. I think that little things like that make all the difference in the world. So
yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that story. Your About section on your blog. Okay, so this is the off-topic question, and I was looking for something to talk to you about. Thought we might do the whole PRSA thing, but then I was like, okay, your About section says you love to golf, you love to run, and go out to dinner. So instead, I thought let's get the download of the 3 here. So what do you shoot on the course? What's the best course you played recently?
Well, I've broken 80 one time,
Okay, we can't golf together then.
but well, that's just it. I mean, that was a really good day.
Okay, gotcha.
But I mean, I golf. I only have one eye, so it's not. It's okay. It's no big deal.
So then, and what about courses? Are there any really good courses in Cincinnati, or what's the best course?
There are a couple pretty good courses up here. A couple of summers ago, I got the opportunity to play at quite a few courses in all through Kentucky. I was a tour intern and was essentially a course official.
Okay.
We got to play a bunch of big courses down in Louisville, which was fun. But yeah, there's some nice courses over in Cincinnati. So
okay.
that some of them are a little bit tougher than I would like them to be, but that's the nature of the beast, isn't it?
That's the way it is in Kansas City too. I've gotten to play in some really nice ones in tournaments. That always seem to be a little bit hard for me though. A little too much sand.
Oh yeah, and water too, and water.
Yeah, and water, exactly, and water too. Okay, so you said you like to run. What's the farthest you've ever run, or do you run races a lot?
I'm more of a not much of a distance runner. I just like to get out there and get my heart rate up for now. So I'm right at the 5 mile mark, but I think that I'm going to make a pledge now to the 52 Comms Mixup crew special release that I think that I'm going to run a half marathon, the Flying Pig, next year here in Cincinnati.
Awesome, good. And what time next year is that?
It actually just happened this past Saturday, so I got a full year to train. So I think I should be good.
Nice. Buy yourself some time. And that's good. People that half marathon, full marathon. I got people in my office, several people that have run those, and it's making me feel like I need to try to make that kind of a pledge too. So
it's a commitment, but I hopefully be good.
Yeah, absolutely, awesome accomplishment. Okay, and you said best restaurant. You like to go out to eat. Best restaurant you've eaten at recently?
There's a place here in Cincinnati called Senate.
Okay.
And the concept is street food gourmet. So they have falafel, and then they have all these awesome hot dogs. And then they have poutine, which is a bunch of great truffle fries and gravy.
Gravy, right? Yeah. Awesome. That's very cool. I just was at South by. The food trucks were kind of all the rage. So
yeah, definitely.
Thinking about some of that food gourmet sounds pretty good to me right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then last question is always reserved for you to tell us about a cause, or it doesn't have to be a nonprofit or a charity, but just something you're passionate about. So, what do you got there? Lay it on us.
Well, luckily, I've been pretty fortunate to be able to. I graduated from NKU here in Northern Kentucky, or Northern Kentucky University, and I was able to have some strong relationships with my professors, and given the opportunity to go back and speak quite a few times to different classes on managing your online identity,
right, and
the importance of starting your social kind of footprint while they're in school, and really making sure they don't have got a bunch of junk up there on Facebook that employers don't want to see, and that they really have a well developed kind of LinkedIn profile and the Twitter stuff, because that's kind of how I really started to grow my kind of professional network, was using those tools. So I kind of feel like I have somewhat of a grasp on it, but no one really knows everything that's out there, right?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting topic. I actually spoke to a class here at University of Kansas last week, and we talked some about this. So what's the number one tip you give these guys about their online or their social presence?
Well, it's been very interesting just to kind of, because I've been at varying degrees of the freshmen, sophomores,
right,
seniors, kind of everybody across different majors even. And I'd say the most important thing to them is that they didn't really grasp that, once you upload something to Facebook, it's there forever. Once you make a tweet, the Library of Congress, they're logging that. Right. So, and then with LinkedIn, they just didn't really grasp all that. So really kind of solidifying that and saying, hey, guys, watch out, watch what you're doing online, because it definitely, it can definitely hurt you. But at the same time, as much as it can hurt you, it can make you stand way above the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think it's great that you're doing that. I was talking to a colleague recently and saying I thought maybe we were done having the conversation about, that the pictures or the things you post, anybody can see them, but I don't think we are. I'm not sure we'll ever be done having that conversation.
No. Well, there's always, they're all, if there's an opportunity for somebody to do something like that, then probably that conversation is going to have to go on.
Yeah, it was really sad, but there's a person I know that interned at a company locally here. A lot of respect for her. She did really good work. Worked with her on some PRSA stuff. Went well, and she followed me on Twitter the other day, and I went out and looked at her page, and some of the stuff that she had up on there was just completely inappropriate. And I was just like, in fact, I probably am going to do it. I was thinking the first thing I was just kind of a head shaker, and then I was like, I really should send her an email and say, you've got a lot to bring to the table professionally, but you're never going to get a job with this stuff.
Right. But
I think it's what you're saying. She's probably just not thinking about it.
Yeah.
So.
And until someone really, sits down and express, I think that once we get a couple like really good case studies, really good examples, somebody's going to mess up in a really big way.
Right.
And once that happens, I think that a lot more people will be aware of it. But right now, I think it's a little bit under the radar still.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is, because you think it's something. Some people it's commonsensical, but it's still a big issue that needs to be addressed. So that's awesome that you're doing that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a lot of fun.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for the time, Andrew, today. Really appreciate it, and good luck to your Cincinnati Reds this year. You guys are in the National League.
Can you see that back there? Can you see Go Reds back there?
There he's Go Reds there, and he's on the team. He's rooting for the team in Ohio that I'm not worried about because they're a National League team. So if you could get Cleveland to stop messing around with my Royals, that would be really good.
Hey, well, hopefully we'll take care of the battle of Ohio here soon. So.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
All right, cool. Thanks, Justin.